So tell me about why you ended up getting the Bahia Red 73S originally.
Okay, in 1968, I bought a GTO. It was the coolest car I had ever seen. Wonderful car. I moved to Tulsa, and for some reason, I'm not sure why, I went to the Porsche dealer and drove a 914, which was a four-cylinder, not very exciting car. But the guy took me out and drove it, and I went like, I've never seen a car do this. My GTO could not do this, and I bought the 914. We moved to Tulsa, and I bought my wife a 1976 911 Targa. And I said, this is the coolest car I've ever driven. And she loved that car. And I tried autocrossing it. And I went out and drove it, and I went, it's not very good, or I'm not very good. I presumed it was the car. So I asked around for what's the best car to drive for autocrossing. And they said a 1973 911S. It turns out that the place that was servicing my car had one for sale, and I bought it. And I absolutely loved it. And I took my wife out in it first time, drove it around. She said, what's so special about this? And I said, watch this. I accelerated around the corner, and she was incredibly impressed, and I just thought it was the coolest car ever. Since then, I've had a 914.6, which I thought was really good, not as good as the 73 911S. So it's just the right car for me. Great car.
Yeah, that's why you had it all these years. And then tell me about your second day with Mom.
On my second day with my future wife, I made sure the car was sparkling clean. I picked her up. We were going out to dinner. We were driving down the expressway. And I said, she needs to understand why this is such a good car. And so we had a cloverleaf coming up. I took her around the cloverleaf really fast. And all I remember her saying was, could you please pull over because I need to throw up. And that was the end of the demonstrations.
Yeah, we were never really able to impress women in the way we wanted to with that car. I remember in high school you let me borrow it that time, and the girl got nauseous from the fumes, and I had to take her back like 10 minutes later. And then Lauren, before we got married, I picked her up on one of our early dates, and she said, wow, this is a really cool Camaro. So tell me about the trip that you took with Dad to the autocross in Arkansas.
Okay, so in 1982, I was pregnant with my son, Brad.
Me.
And it was, yes, and it was August, and it was really hot. And so we had been to a race in Arkansas, Arkansas, and on the way back, of course, the Porsche does not have air conditioning. And it was very hot in Oklahoma, and I was pregnant, and so I needed a drink. And he would not stop because he had started like a stopwatch, and he was trying to apparently set a new land speed record from Arkansas to Tulsa.
Making good time.
And so he just, yes, so he would not stop for me. And finally, I was just adamant, I am carrying our child here. It's not healthy for me to be this thirsty and hot in a Porsche, and you won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
So he finally stopped at a truck stop and let me get a drink, and he was really upset with me the whole rest of the way because I had ruined the timing on what he thought he should make it back to Tulsa as a new record.
Mm-hmm. But between that and you throwing up on your second date in the car, you must not like that car very much.
It was not my favorite car.